Well, I think we all knew that a real reason Bruce Arians' retired video was coming. First, let's begin with Arians' statement. He made it clear that this decision wasn't about his health at all. He said this is the best he's felt in many years. Then he starts babbling on about how he wants to focus on what he can give back to this incredible game, and how he started thinking about his personal transition plan earlier this offseason. You want to know why he started thinking about a transition plan? Because the Glazers, who own the Bucs, decided they would rather have Tom Brady over Bruce Arians. And Brady had decided that he would rather continue his career without Arians. Why, you might ask? Well, there was that report about Byron Leftwich and Brady doing the heavy lifting on weekly game plans last season while Arians was rehabbing his Achilles in the mornings, and would then later, quote, take the red pen to the work they'd done. And if you watched the Bucs in the 2020 regular season, you'd know there was a schematic power struggle between Brady and Arians' head scratch worthy ideas on how the offense should operate. So the first logical step for Brady was to attempt a move to the only other team that wouldn't uproot his family, the Miami Dolphins, the actual closest team to where Brady is building his new house. I wasn't willing to put too much stock into these rumors at first. I mean, I thought it was more logical than the 49ers idea, but now with this news, I say pour the gasoline on that fire. So we'll be sure to get to more Dolphin stuff later, but for now, Arians continued in his statement saying, I wanted to ensure when I walked away that Todd Bowles would have the best opportunity to succeed. So many head coaches come into situations where they are set up for failure, and I didn't want that for Todd. Tom's decision to come back, along with Bucs GM Jason Light and his staff doing another great job of keeping the core of this team intact during free agency, confirmed to me that it was the right time to pass the torch to Todd. So let me just shorten that. Tom's decision to come back confirmed to me that it was the right time to pass the torch to Todd. Does that make any sense to you? That doesn't even make sense to Bruce Arians, who has said in the past that there's no way in hell he's retiring for as long as he has Tom Brady, because he wants to win more championships. I mean, you can't blame the man for that. The best part of this statement comes next. He says, I began conversations with Jason Light and the Glazer family a few weeks ago about a possible succession plan. You want to know what else took place a few weeks ago? A Tom Brady visit to Old Trafford. Brady was hosted by the Glazers right before he announced his unretirement. We had previously speculated on this channel that a deal was put into place, possibly giving Brady the power no NFL player has seen before. Now, in some ways, it seems like he's the judge, jury, and executioner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Glazers are known to be more hands-off owners, and it seems they've given the keys to the franchise not to a head coach or GM, but to a quarterback. It's a revolutionary play that could change the NFL forever. The best part of this is Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times saying that Brady was informed of Bruce Arians stepping down the same day of his unretirement, but Todd Bowles learned of Arians' decision on Monday. I mean, if you can't connect those pieces, then I don't know what to tell you. One of the other thoughts that came to my mind is how the Glazers made sure they weren't going to make the same mistake the Patriots made. Tom Brady has proven he's more important than a system or a head coach. Some of us, that's been clear for a long time, but believe me, there were plenty of doubters who thought otherwise. Robert Kraft seemed incredibly torn on the decision, but in the end, he let Brady walk. There were other factors involved, of course, like I think Brady would have rather left than force Belichick out, but now that he's seemingly in Florida for the rest of his playing career, it became apparent there were two choices if he wanted to keep playing without Arians. The first thing he was rumored to do was pair up with Sean Payton in Miami. Payton, of course, was known as a great offensive mind, and he also suddenly retired this year out of nowhere, which sure makes you wonder. But once the Bucs put a stop to that, because Brady was under contract with them and they weren't going to let the greatest quarterback ever walk out that door, they decided, from what I can tell, that they were gonna privately fire Bruce Arians. They struck up a deal for 1 more year of Brady because 1 more year of Brady is worth a lot more than the rest of Arians' career. I also just can't believe some of this Arians propaganda being fed to the general public. Ian Rappaport: Bruce Arians really made a fascinating decision. Tom Brady comes back to the Bucs, and he knows they'll be good. Rather than have Todd Bowles take over a bad team or one in transition, he chooses now to pass it off. Arians made sure Bowles will coach a good team. Yeah, okay. I get the feeling that message was copy and pasted from a text Rappaport received by a woman with the name Christine Arians. Because it's clear as day that it doesn't make sense, and it totally contrasts to what Arians has said in the past. By the way, I don't think Brady hates Arians as a person. He just doesn't like how Arians works. He doesn't like his work ethic. He ended up not liking most of his scheme. They just didn't mesh well with each other. You could even say it was actually an error in some way by Brady. When he was evaluating teams to join as a free agent in 2020, he saw the potential of a lost yet talented Bucs roster. He thought he could fix that. Obviously, in many ways he did. You don't just waltz into a championship even if your name is Tom Brady. But I don't think he quite accounted for just how lacking Arians was as an NFL head coach, or at least lacking in what Brady thought an NFL head coach should be. And I know there are going to be some people who point to the nice message Brady put up on Instagram for Arians, but come on, where there's smoke, there's fire. Don't be like the people who denied there was tension within the Patriots organization all the way up until the second Brady officially left. There were some signs then, and there are even more blatant signs now. If the Bucs don't go on that incredible run to win the Super Bowl during the 2020 season, then I think this whole Arians firing/retiring gets moved up a year. Because I talked about how in the middle of that season there were some clear schematic differences in how Brady wanted things done and how Arians wanted things done. As the season went on, Brady got more and more of his way, and what do you know? The Bucs started winning more and more as well. In the end, Tom Brady is too obsessed with winning to let a lackluster head coach get in his way any longer. It seems his first solution to that problem was the Sean Payton Dolphins, but the Bucs blocked it, and now the spotlight turns to Todd Bowles, which I think Brady is happy about because Bowles isn't going to step on any toes when it comes to the offensive side of the football. Brady is a control freak, and now he has more control of his offense.